Where are the rest of the soccer players? Dude. Yeah. Baseball representing at least. We always represent, he says. That is a very good point. It is very hard to not see all 70 of you. How many people are supposed to be on a baseball team? Oh, I love it. Do what? Oh, only 30 travel? That still seems like a lot for like 9. Oh, okay. That's still a lot. I don't know. It's like you watch the college football games and there's like 100 people on the sidelines and there's like the same like 10 out there. Oh, well. Okay. So don't forget, this week, time management is due by Sunday. If you want to hand it in to me, I will take it, not a problem. Okay. 2 parts to it, your plan, and then how did it go? Did your plan work? Did it not work? Did you get any benefit out of it? Things like that. Look, he goes, no. Okay. Second, journal entry. Okay, for Sunday. Don't forget about that. We still have 2 extra credit assignments out there for anyone that wants them. The first one is to prove to me you have your textbooks for session 2 for the fall. Okay, so take pictures. Huh? You don't have a teacher. And then the second one is to take that proctor free quiz where literally it says, did you find this quiz? And you answer yes. Okay. There's not really anything you need to know. It is so that you can get used to using proctor free and logging in and how to take those online tests. Okay. Where's Sed? Where's number dose over there? Asleep. You tell him I called him out and be like, where was he? We should take a picture of his room. Oh, a field trip to his room. Then walk in and be like, hello, you're supposed to be in class. Okay. Yeah. If you stole a water fountain, how would you get it off the wall? Did you take your meds today, mister? Okay, I was just checking. Okay. So over here, it's a legit question. A legit question. So over here under readings for the week, I added 2 more tutorials, one for Excel and one for PowerPoint. They are very similar to the ones that we looked at yesterday for Word. Okay, it has all the different things that you can do in Excel and PowerPoint over here on this left-hand side. So if you have a specific thing you would like to do, you can go ahead and go there first. The other 2, the Excel video training and the PowerPoint, those are actually offered. I'm trying to do this so it doesn't cover up my Zoom. These are offered by Microsoft themselves. There's also some just basic information, how to share, import, and for Excel, just some basic things, getting to know how to query, link data types, authoring formulas and functions is always a good one, creating tables, and doing graphical charts. So all of those links are available to you right here. If we look in the upcoming weeks, we don't have a whole lot more going on, to be honest with you guys. So we've got next week, we have a journal entry and your letter to next year's incoming cohort. Okay, we talked about it briefly at the beginning. We'll talk about it again next week. So that's the letter that's due next week. And then we're done. Okay, then it's the last week. So please make sure you're aware of what assignments are out there. The life plan we are going to work on tomorrow. We're going to have Miss Newsom in here with us, who is an English comp teacher and our student success director, if you don't know. She's going to be in here. So please use the time and use the resources. Okay. We're not going to be taking attendance. There's not going to be a participation. This is going to be for you. Okay. Don't forget your advising meetings. Okay, I'm starting to see a lot of them pour in, but go ahead and reach out now and even get on their calendar in the next 2 weeks. We only have 2 weeks left. Okay, start now if you can get on their calendar as soon as possible. Okay, and then the final journal entry. So there's really not a whole lot left to this class. The what? The letter to the next incoming cohort. So what we're going to do is, remember at the beginning, I said this is a freshman seminar type class. What are you doing in here? Okay, I'm just checking. I'm like, you're not supposed to be in here either. Is today just a random day of like showing up? I love it. It's great. Okay, so we talked about at the beginning, we talked about how this is more like a freshman seminar, getting you guys acclimated to e-learning and our My Carolina University portal and technology, which is why we're going through all these things. The letter to the next incoming cohort, we can go ahead and look at it now. Coursework. Look, I'm failing my own class, you guys. Did you see that? Letter to next year's incoming cohort. So, oh, the upload didn't come in. Okay, that's good to know. I'll fix that before next week. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a letter to next year's new class of freshmen or those coming in. What are some tips and tricks that you've learned that you can pass on to the next group? Okay. Do what? About life on Carolina University. Doesn't have to be about my class. Okay. What kind of experiences can you say? Make sure you get help when you need it. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that, that type of thing. Does that make sense? We'll go over it more next time. But look, I'm failing my own class. I only have a 10. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns about anything that we've done up to this point? Anything? Assignments? Going forward? No? Remember, there's only 2 weeks. This Thursday, which is tomorrow, we're working on life plan, and next Thursday. So we've got 2 sessions, okay? 2 working sessions. Okay, so today we're going to look at PowerPoint and we're going to look at Excel the way we went through Word yesterday. They're going to be very similar in some aspects and quite different in others. So for PowerPoint, I'm going to go ahead and open just a blank presentation. When you first open it, you are given an option of different templates that you can use or different pre-made themes. You can always just open up a blank one. You can always change that under the Design tab. The first bar over here are all the different built-in themes that you have, along with the color palettes on the right-hand side. So say I want to do, let's do this weirdo one. Okay. I can also change the color over here. Make it blue. You can also change the size. Okay. I suggest you always go with widescreen. It's going to give you more real estate, and most of the TVs and projectors on campus can accommodate a widescreen. Okay. It'll make your presentations look better. Okay. Because it's going to take up the whole thing. You can also format the background. Okay. Now, you can see my balloons from last class. Over here at the top, and if you type in the word slide, you can find something called the slide master view. Okay. This is going to be on every single slide in your presentation. So if you want to put something like a logo or a specific picture, you come to the top, I can say insert. Let's do an online picture. Let's do, I don't know, an apple. Why? I don't know. So this is my logo. And let's say I want an apple in that spot on every single slide. See how on the left, it actually put it in the background of all the slides going down? Okay. When you go all the way to the top, this is the master slide. These are actually considered children of the master. So everything in the master, it inherits. So my apple's there on everything. Okay. I can change colors. I can do effects. I actually have access, oops, up here, to that format of picture like we did yesterday. So I can do all of those different styles that we had in Word yesterday. Okay, we still have those artistic effects. I can make it look like I drew it with a pencil. Okay. Now, if I close this master slide view, whoops, I add some slides. There's my apple. It's always going to be there. Okay. I can't click on it in this view. I can't change it in this view because I changed it in the master version. It's automatically going to be on every single one. Okay. So if you want something for a background, something good to put on a master slide is maybe your name, the assignment, something to that effect that you want on every single slide. Okay. Coming up here on the home tab, well, actually, let's go back to the file tab, file info. In Microsoft, they like to call this the backstage view. Okay, it's going to give you all that background information, just like we had in Word. So over here on the right, we can say show all properties. We can say it's widescreen. We can see comments. We can add titles and tags. We can actually see how many slides there are, how many hidden. We can protect it. We can check for issues. Okay, same like we could in Word. Okay, up on home. If I want to insert a slide, I can go to whatever location I want and create this red bar here and click new slide. Okay, if I click the little arrow next to it, I can choose what layout I want on that slide that I'm adding. Okay. Most of the times, the ones that we use are title and content, to content, but you have a whole lot of different various slides here. Okay. If you have a slide and you want to change the layout, you click on the layout button and I can change it there. I can reset it. I can also add a section. Okay. If I add a section, I can give it a name and I can easily link things between sections and I can open and close. So I can make my sections my different topics of my presentation and then only see what that topic is about. Okay. Here we can add text by just typing in the box. If we double click on that text, we can do all those different text things we can do here. That just made no sense. I can give it a shadow. I can increase the size. I can make it a different font. I can change the color. Okay, so everything that you can do in Word, you can do in PowerPoint. Here we can add bullet points. We can add the numerics. And again, we have those same capabilities of putting the different icons. We can create columns. We can change the text direction. So if I want my text to go that way, I can. If I want it to be stacked, I can. If I want it to just be normal, I can put it back. I can convert text to smart art. So it's going to convert it to whatever one I choose here. And I can also say I want it at the top, the middle, or the bottom of this text box. So we'll just leave it in the middle for now. Here, there are some quick styles. You can see how it changes the text box that I'm looking at. The squares means that it is transparent. Okay. So we've got something like that. You can change the fill. You can find and replace within your slides. Under insert, you can insert things like a table, pictures. There's a couple ways to do that. To do that. Here in my box, you can see very lightly there are actually icons. Of course, they're getting smaller as I zoom in. There are icons here. If I want to add a table, I can click on the table icon and say I want a 5 by 5. Say 5 columns, 5 rows. I click OK, and it'll automatically put that table and take up the whole slide. Okay, so you don't have to worry about sizing. If I come over here, I can create a chart. Okay, I can add a chart to it. It'll open up your chart in Excel. Here, I can add that smart graphic. I can add a picture. I can add an online picture. So let's I don't know. I want to add a picture. And again, it takes up as much real estate as it can. Okay, you can also add a video. That's how I had inserted that video from a couple sessions ago. If you click on insert video, it'll actually ask you, is it from a file or is it from a YouTube page? Is it from some kind of embedded code? You can insert the video directly into PowerPoint so you don't have to stop your presentation and go find a video and then come back. It's all in one. Okay, insert. Let's go back up to here. Let's try this one. You can also, up here, you can insert screenshots. There is a screen clipping, okay? On the opposite end, there's actually a screen recording where I can record my screen. Okay, I can record the pointer, I can record audio, I can actually dictate which part of the screen I want to collect. Okay, you can insert audio and video. Here we have the same, the shapes, the icons, models, smart art, and charts, same as what we had for Word. We can put comments, we can add text boxes. I don't know why that's hard for me to say. So say here I have my table and I want to add a text box. If I click in a specific location, it's just going to put a text box. If I type something in it, more than likely that's not how I want this to show up. So if I click on it, there are big circles and I can size my text box. Okay. I can also rotate it however I want. Okay. I can also move it to different locations. Okay. You can add a header and a footer, word art, date and time. You can add slide numbers. Let's see, put the date and the time and the slide numbers, and you can apply it to one or you can apply it to all. It automatically put the slide number and the date. And as I scroll through, it did put them on all of them. So it will automatically do that for you. You can add an object or you can actually add an equation. So if you have an equation, it opens up the equation editor and you can do something like x equals, type equation, oh wait, x equals, let's see, 4 over y. Okay. So you can actually get it to format an equation to look nice. That's a terrible word. I'm sure there's a better word than nice. I can also draw. So say I have a pie chart or some other chart and I want to, you know, zoom in on something. I can say, this is the portion that we're looking at and put that on there as a draw. Okay. I can put a ruler on there so that I can draw a straight line because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Under insert, I can also do the same thing with shapes. So I can say, hey, look at this one. Okay. So those are some nice things that you can do. Like, okay. Draw, design, we've talked about. Transitions. So transitions and animations. Transitions is going to be from slide to slide. Animations are going to be within the slide. So say moving from slide A to B, I want to, let's do random bars. That's what it's going to look like when that slide appears. Okay, so now let's go to this one. Let's click on my funny looking flower. Let's say animation. So let's have it row and turn. Okay, so those animations are within. So now if I go from the beginning, next slide should show up with those bars. If I scoot down to the daisy and I click, my daisy will pop in. Okay, makes it a little more dynamic. Okay, you've got all the different ways to do it. You also have whether you want sound or not, and how long you want it to take, and how you want to go up to the next slide. You can have it timed so it automatically does it while you're speaking, or you can do it on mouse click. Same thing with animations. Here, add animation. Here's the different triggers on click of. You can click a specific location or just click in general. Okay, here's all the different ways that you can animate. So there are entrances and there are exits, and there are also things called emphasis. So if you do the emphasis, it's just going to do something in place while it's already there. You have different motion paths and all the different effects. Okay. You can see here when you do animations, they're going to put little numbers next to what you're doing. Okay. So this one is going to go first because it has the number 1. This one's going to go second because it has the number 2. So now if I do slideshow from this slide, on the click, it's going to go to the daisy because it was number 1. And then when I click again, it's going to do the animation that I had as number 2, which was the pie chart zooming in. Okay. You can reorder the animations. So say I want to do the pie chart first, I can actually click the move earlier or move later. It switched the numbers 1 and 2. And when I do the slideshow, it's going to do a pie chart first because it now has the number 1, and then it's going to do my flower. Okay. Another thing to know for PowerPoint, if you pull up this bottom, there is a place that you can add notes. Okay. When you're doing a presentation, you can actually add your notes here. Okay. Anything you add in the note section is not going to be seen by your audience at all. It's only for the presenter. Okay. Up here we have from beginning, from current slide, you can present online, you can rehearse timings. Okay. You can actually pick which monitor you want it to show up on. So if I say here from the beginning, I've got the ability, you can see those notes are not showing up on that screen that I have here. Okay. One thing I want to show too, while you're in your slideshow, down here at the very bottom on the left, there are some options that you have. The arrows will advance just as if you were to click. You also have a pen that's available. You can do a laser pointer, so you can draw the attention. It's just a red circle. You can also, oops, there we go. You can also draw while you're doing your presentation. Okay. So you can bring people's attention to different things that are on the screen. Okay. You can also then go in, you can change the color of what you're highlighting. I can say, look at the column in green, and we're going to compare it to the column in red. Okay. So I could bring attention to those as if it were on a whiteboard. I can go ahead and click on this. I can say erase all the ink, and it all disappears. Now, the next one's an interesting one that most people don't know about. So there's little blocks with another little block in it. If you click on that, what it's actually going to do is it's going to show you a view of all of the slides in your presentation, okay? It's also going to show you the default section. It's going to break up your sections here, okay? So if I'm on this slide and I want to jump to a slide further down in the presentation, if you click on that, you can very easily go between slides without having to scroll through everything in the middle. Okay. Kind of gives you a little bit, doesn't make you so cross-eyed when you're doing it. So here, presenter view. Okay. Presenter view is very, very useful, especially if you use that notes section. What you're going to see, what your user is going to see is what is over here in the big screen. Okay. What you see though as a presenter is there's a few things. Up here you have a timer. Okay. So if you use the presenter view and you say you've got a 5-minute, you actually have a timer on your screen that you can gauge your time. Okay. You have access to the pen and laser pointer. Just like we do on the regular screen, you have access to the slides, just like you do on the regular screen. Okay. Down at the bottom, it'll show you how many what slide number you're on and how many you have. So down here, it says I'm on 3 of 6. I can rotate between all of them using the bottom. Over here on the right, though, this is really the main part of the presenter view. You have access to what is on the next slide so that you can see what slide's coming up, and you have your notes. So my next slide is the slide I wrote in that note section, adding notes here on what to say. okay? So you can add talking points to that note section. Use the presenter view and make sure that you're actually getting to everything you want to say. Okay, it's all brought up there for you. Okay, I'm going to end my slideshow. Let's see. Review. There are things here for spell check and thesaurus, translating in language, and putting comments, just like in all of the other Microsoft applications. Here on view, you can view a normal, you can view an outline view, okay? It's gonna put all the titles. You can go to something called a slide sorter. So say I want this one, I can actually click, drag and drop, and rearrange the location of my slides. Okay, makes it very easy to get all of your ideas onto a slide and then do your arrangement. Okay, over here are notes pages. Okay, anything you type in that notes section will appear on this page. That one's the only one that I typed note in. Again, you've got your slide master. It's going to take me back there. Okay, you've got things like the ruler and the grid line. Let's go back to normal. You've got the ruler and the grid lines, just like we had on Word, okay? So you might be able to line things up a little better. Say I want that lined up with those lines. Okay, you can zoom, fit to window, color, grayscale, black and white. You can switch between the windows and you can actually add macros. Okay? Under File, Print, the second one down? Yeah, it looks like it's third one down, whatever. You actually have various different options in order to print a presentation. You can print the notes page, which is the page that we saw that has the slide at the top and the notes at the bottom. So if you've typed your notes out, you can do that. You can print out the outline view. See here, there's with the notes. You can print out just the outline view. You can also print handouts. So you can determine how many slides you want printed per page. 3 usually prints out with some nice room to add notes. Okay. The other nice thing to do with a print is down here at color, you can actually print in pure black and white. Okay, so you don't have to waste your color ink, especially if it's still in that draft editing version, in that phase. Does that make sense for PowerPoint? I know you guys have probably been using it since like elementary school, right? Yeah. You learn anything new? Couple things maybe? Okay. I always try to get too fancy with my PowerPoint and then like I break it somehow. Okay. Let's get a new spreadsheet up here. So do you guys use Excel a lot? No, a little bit? Yeah. It does math for you, y'all. Might as well just like let it. Okay, super easy. So I'm going to date myself. Back in the day, our grades were not online and we had to keep track of them ourselves. I always had a spreadsheet for every class. So I knew what assignments I had and I knew currently what my running grade is. Okay. So I always had that working. When you first open up Excel, you actually open up what's called a workbook, and that's how you save the workbook. Now in your workbook, you're going to have worksheets. Okay, down here at the bottom, there's a plus sign. I can add as many sheets as I need, and I can go between them. And it's like having a whole new blank piece of paper. If I right click on the sheets, I can insert, delete, I can rename it. I'm not being very creative today, so that's okay. I can move it or make a copy of it. I can actually change the tab color. Okay, so if you want to color code something, you can do that. I would typically have a sheet for each class, running. You can do budgets using spreadsheets. Okay, they're very, very versatile. Again, up here, if I go into that info section, I can protect, check for issues, manage. Over here for my properties, again, we can add authors, managers, and any kind of specific text we want, and it'll put it in the file. Okay. Now to put data, you can do it one of a few different ways. You can just type things in. Okay. Or you can import data. So if I say data, I can say get data. I can get it from a file. So I can get data from a different workbook. I can get data from a comma delimited file or a text file. Oops, that's what I want. I can do it from an XML. I can do it from a whole bunch of different ways. Okay. I can get it from a database. I can get it from some online services. I can combine different queries. Okay. Again, I can get it from a text file, web, they're all over here. Okay. Let's go back to the home. Again, we have the same looking toolbar that we have in both Word and PowerPoint. Okay. Over here, one of the things is the number. Okay. So say I want to do a budget, I can actually come over here and click the $sign, and all of a sudden it changes my numbers to have that look and feel of money where there's 2 decimal places and a $sign, and it adds commas. I can say I want it to be a comma. I just want to add commas. So you can see here in that large number, it added a comma. I can say I want it to be a percentage. Okay. And it'll do that. Up here, I can actually specify general, number, currency, accounting, date, specific, text. So let's just go ahead and put a number. I can increase and decrease the number of decimal places by using right over here. This will actually decrease them and that will increase them. Okay. Sometimes if you start using those formulas, you'll actually end up getting a whole bunch of decimal places and you want to reduce it down and only see a few. You can use those. The next one over here is conditional formatting. This is nice when you've got a large amount of data that you want to look through. Okay. I can highlight cells that are greater than a certain number, less than, in between, equal to. So let's do greater than. So if it's greater than 20, we want to do a light red fill. It automatically changes it. Okay. That being said, I can come over here, type it, and it automatically changes it because the number I entered was above 20. Okay. Same thing happens if I'm here and I enter in a number below 20. Okay. Because that conditional formatting is for that whole section that I specified. You can also give it your own formatting. You can say, show me the top 10%. And let's pick a different one. Let's do green. So the top 10%, it changed it to green. Okay. You can also say, show me a color scale. Okay. So this goes from green to red. So green is your highest value, red is your lowest. Anything in yellow, there's kind of a gradient going on. So you can sort them. The other thing that you can do actually quickly, you can highlight duplicates. Let's do a custom format. So here I can say, let's fill it with purple. And then hit OK. Those 2 cells have a duplicate value in it. Okay. So if you're trying to get rid of duplicates, you can see them very easily. Okay. Let me get rid of, clear all the rules from this entire sheet. Got rid of all of them. Okay. I use conditional formatting a lot, especially if you have a large amount of data that you're trying to look at. These over here, these styles are built-in styles. So if I select a cell here, I can say, hey, I want it to be orange with the double underline. I can just do that very quickly without having to go piece by piece. I can insert, I can delete, I can format. I can do an auto sum. So if I click my little range here, I click on auto sum, it added automatically to the bottom, and it added up everything that I had highlighted. The other thing to notice, if I highlight a group, down here in the bottom right, it actually does give you some statistics about everything you have highlighted. It gives you an average. It gives you the count or how many are highlighted, and it does give you the sum. So if you don't want it printed out and you just want to select a few and find the sum, it does put it down here in this bottom right. Okay. You can do things here like wrap text and merge your cells just like you can with the word tables. Okay, you can sort and filter, you can find. So let's go insert. You've also got your pictures and your icons. These are all the same. One of the things that is different though is the chart section. Okay, so you can click on recommended and it's going to give you some suggestions of charts, probably the most likely that you're going to use. Most of the time it's bar, line, and pie charts. So here we have a line chart. Okay. Once you create a chart, you are going to get those extra tabs at the top like you did previously. And it is specific to the chart. So here I can change the colors of the chart. Here I can choose a different style of the chart. Let's go that way. Quick layouts, I can put all different kinds of things on this chart. I can switch my rows and columns. I can select my data. Okay. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. I can move it around. Okay. It's treated just like a regular object. Over here on the chart, if I have a chart highlighted, there's a plus sign. Okay. It's going to show you all the different things that you can add or take away from your chart. So here I've got the axes listed, the titles of the axes, the chart title, data labels. I can put a data table on there. See how I put a table on the bottom? I can put error bars. I can put a legend. I can put a trend line. I can put up and down bars. Okay. I can also remove whatever I want off of the chart as well. Okay. So I took everything off. So all it is the line. It's the chart. Okay. Let's at least put my axes back. The next one down is going to give you some various different styles and colors that you can see your chart. So again, I can change my color. I can go to style and say I want it to look like that. Okay. So you might be able to find what you want right there. The bottom one is good. It's going to allow you to filter the data that you've chosen. So if for some reason you don't want to see a specific value, so say this value, because it's out, it seems to be very large. I'm going to get rid of value number 9. I can click that, hit apply, and that one is now gone. And it also zoomed back in and showed me a better view of the chart. Okay. This is good for if you have something showing a lot of zeros, you can get rid of it. You have something that doesn't have any data, you can get rid of them as well. You can also select your data and it brings you right back to that select a source screen. Okay. Draw, you can do the same thing that you can in all the other ones. So say I want to highlight those 2 max values. I can just circle them with a red pen. Okay. You can highlight, you can actually erase. So I can get rid of them. We also have page layouts, just like we do in Word. Okay, there's your breaks, your print area, your size, orientation, and what you want to view on it. Do you want to view and print headings or just view the headings? Okay. Things about sending things backwards and forwards. Oops, didn't do that. Formulas. This is really the big, I think, why most people use Excel. Let's go to a different sheet here. Okay. Insert a function. You can actually type what you want to do and it will give you the functions to select from. Over here on next to it, there's the auto sum and auto average, count, max, min. These are sort of the most used functions. Then we've got next to it these little books. Now each one of those books within it is going to contain functions. That's the word. Functions and equations that have to deal with whatever the title says. So financial, okay, you've got things like duration, received, okay. Logical, it's going to be your and, if, or, not. If you want to compare text, okay, if you want to substitute, if you want to do date and time, you know, days 360, date value, time value, today. Look up and reference. These are lookups for in other locations of the table. Ooh, sorry. Math and trig. So here you've got things like cosine, hypercosine, cotangent, okay? And you've got some more. So there's some statistical things in here like count, engineering, cube, information, compatibility, and some web. So there's a lot of different built-in functions here. If you ever don't know, Google it. I mean, Google usually tells me what function I need. You can also name. So say I want to come back here to, where did I put all my stuff? There we go. I want to call this set as a name. I can say, I want to call that hello. See over here, it actually put the name of that selection. I can use that name then in a manager. I can say sum hello. Okay, and anything I put in there, it'll add to the sum. You can do calculation options. You can calculate now. You can add a calculate to the spreadsheet. So the data. I'm going to add more junk. It's okay. There we go. So title, value. I'm going to put some titles on that. Some things I can do. I can highlight the entire selection and hit the sort. It will allow me to sort by title. And then I can add a level and then say sort by value. Okay. What it does is it actually keeps those pairs intact going forward. I can click on the titles and hit filter. It's going to put the little pull downs. Again, it's going to let me sort. It's going to keep the rows consistent. I can also deselect specific values that I don't want to see. And it hides those values for you. Okay. And all of that gets updated in whatever chart you have or whatever you have going on. Let's go ahead and select all, put them all back. Over here, another one that you have is remove duplicates. So if you've any duplicate rows, it will delete them. Okay. You can also do a data validation. So if I say in this data validation, I want it to be a decimal between 0 and 100. Okay. If I try to type a number bigger than 100, it actually is going to give me an error. Okay. Your value doesn't match the data that you told me that I'm going to get, so I'm going to give you an error. Okay. You can also consolidate different values that you have going on here. Last over here, we've got review, so we have comments. You can protect your sheet. And last on view, you can change the different layouts that you have. You can show the grid lines, you can show headings, you can get rid of the formula bar. That's all there. The last thing over here that you might want to use is something called the freeze panes. And what that's going to do is as you scroll, the more data that you have, it's going to keep that top row the same. So you can see one is still here and it's never changing. And it's going to appear no matter where I am and on what row. Okay, so unfreeze. You can also view multiple windows. So if I say new window, it's going to create a new Excel window with the same worksheet in it. So I can change worksheets within the workbook. So I can work on one worksheet on one side of the screen and another worksheet on another. Okay, make sense? Yeah. Last but not least, on Excel, they have something called macros. These are going to be a programming, usually in Visual Basic, that will allow you to do certain tasks or multiple tasks at once with a single click. Okay. That's getting quite advanced with Excel. I'm just trying to go through the basics to make sure you guys know how to use it. So we're not going to go too far into those macros. Nice thing about Excel is that a lot of people do use it. If you ever have an issue with Excel, just Google Excel and what you're trying to do. Okay. You'll find a tutorial and an example out there, and it'll explain to you how to use it and what it's doing. That's usually how I increase my knowledge on the Excel spreadsheet type stuff. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything about Microsoft Office? Y'all are like Office, like aficionados now, right? I mean, you probably were before too, so it's fine. He goes, no. Okay. Don't forget, tomorrow, life plan, working session, okay? We are going to have a working session at 8:30. You can come anytime between 8:30 and 11:20. We will be here. We're not taking attendance. Come as you want. Ms. Newsom's going to be here to help us. It is going to be anyone in Comp 1 for English can submit it for one of their assignments. So please use that opportunity and write one paper for both classes, okay? Like don't turn that one down. One less assignment you got to do. Sound good? Awesome. I'll see you all tomorrow.